Good morning, Centennial Rotary Club.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Jim's here.
What was that?
Just tripping.
All right. Jay, I understand you have an inspiration for us this morning.
In Spanish.
Buenos días, gracias a Dios que estamos aquí juntos, amigos.
Great.
Lord, thank you for all the blessings you make to Rotary Club and this group of people. Help us to expand our horizons and embrace those who differ from ourselves. Let us hold out a helping hand to those who are in need and are different from us, and to see the world through the eyes of someone different than ourselves. Help us to spread the generosity, selflessness, and wholesomeness of Rotary. Amen.
Amen. Barb, would you lead us in the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and John Barry, you have a business minute today?
I have a Rotary minute, not a business minute.
Oh, Rotary minute. I'm sorry, Rotary minute. You're right. You're correct.
So we've got a lot of newer members in the club, so since I got assigned with the Rotary minute today, one of the best ways, if you have no idea how to find a Rotary minute, is your friend Google. Just Google in Rotary minute and it'll take you down all sorts of rabbit holes with different information that you can find. So I ended up on the RI website and gave us a little bit of information about Rotary that you may not know. Rotary is a global network of 1.2 million neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers who see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. And on that same page, if you go down a little bit, it talks about what Rotary does. We promote peace, we fight disease, we provide clean water, sanitation, and hygiene, we save mothers and children, we support education, and we grow local economies. So again, if you ever are assigned the Rotary Minute, Google is your friend, and you'll find somewhere to go. Thanks.
Thanks, John. John McCarty has the business minute today.
Yes, I do. I am with the Southeast Metro Stormwater Authority, and we are a government agency. We are not a business, although we try and operate like a business. We were created in the fall of 2006 by the City of Centennial, Arapahoe County, East Cherry Creek Valley Water and Sanitation District, the Arapahoe County Water and Wastewater Authority, and Inverness Water and Sanitation District. All 5 of those entities held what is called a clean water permit, an NPDES permit. And they didn't have any way to fund all of the unfunded mandates that were being created and imposed on them by the Clean Water Act and their permits issued by the state of Colorado. So based upon a state statute, they were able to create a government agency, SEMSWA, and we were established with the ability to levy fees against properties based upon the imperviousness of those properties. So those of you who live in unincorporated Arapahoe County or the city of Centennial and who have a mortgage probably don't know much about us, because our fee is listed on the bottom of your property tax notice. It's not totaled with all the mill levies, it's separate down below. And we are very fortunate to be able to collect our fees with the property tax, because our collection rate over a period of 3 years is 100%, because we will go to a tax sale if we don't collect our fee on the property tax. We are collecting about 99.2% of our fees each year. The economy is good. We have a budget of about $10 million a year, and our mandate is to maintain the stormwater system, beginning with inlets at the street and everything downstream of an inlet in the street, all the way to the South Platte River on the west side and Cherry Creek on the east side. We also are mandated to hold the permit and do all the things that are required by the state under the permit that's issued about every 5 years, and to try and clean up the water. And to do that, we improve the facilities, we try and eliminate sedimentation and erosion, and we build facilities like detention ponds and other structures that help clean the water. And to that point, keeping the water clean also means educating people. And part of our education process, one of our educational processes, is convincing people that they ought to pick up after their dogs. So we have these little doggy bag containers, and if you have a dog and walk your dog, you're welcome to a couple of these. Just come up after the meeting and the bag will be here and you can help yourself to a couple. That's the Southeast Metro Stormwater Authority, and that's my minute and a half.
Thank you, Mr. McCarty. Did Paul Fitzler leave already? I wanted to say thank you to Paul for getting here early, and he did all the setup. So that's something. He came in, set up, and took off. So. And Alan, I guess you'll be taking down? Yeah. All right. Thank you. We don't have any visiting Rotarians, but we have several guests here today. One of them is Tom Gross. Tom's our third time here and fourth time here. I can't remember. Third time. And I have his membership application in hand. And then, of course, we have the Webbers. We have Caitlin, who's going to be our speaker, and her mother, Diana. You guys want to stand up and take a bow? All right. Looking forward to this. Been looking forward to this for a long time. We do have a couple of birthdays. One is one of our millennials, Chris Banna, and Greg Cottrell. His birthday's on the 8th. And we do have a wedding anniversary. Mike, you know what tomorrow is, right?
No, I didn't.
Mike and Chantel are celebrating which number is it?
27 years.
27 years. Congratulations. All right, so let's get to some club business. Mary Alice, would you like to give us a few words about prime timers? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Good morning. I'm not Mary Alice, but I'll talk. Thanks to Roxy, in large part, thank you, my dear. We are having, the Primetimers are having a tour of Centennial Airport, and so far we have 9 people. It's on October 25th, and the van only holds 14 people, so we have 5 spots left. And then in November, we're going to go to the Lone Tree Arts Center to hear After Midnight, which is a big, I can't say this very well, I'll say it slowly, big band swing group. So you'd be welcome to join us on that if you're interested. More info to follow.
Okay. Ann, do you have anything to say about Meals on Wheels?
Well, Vern and I went out Friday, and we had a delightful conversation, and we were done quickly. As it turns out, for those who are afraid that it takes forever, we are now, our client list has been cut almost in half. We had 13 people, whereas before we were having almost 20. I was home by noon, which usually is 1 o'clock. So if you're interested in a fun and quick service project where you decide when you're going to go, please let me know, because we can always use new volunteers.
Thanks, Ann. Randy.
Yeah. Just very briefly, we Alan and Angie, I don't see Angie here, and I went and delivered the journals to Heritage Elementary. They are old pros at this now, so as we walk in, they hand us their thank you note. This is their thank you note. So anyway, they were all very pleased and very cute.
Thanks, Randy. Jay, would you like to make a little talk about the Denver mission?
Yeah, 2 items actually. I brought you guys remember the bucket list that we did for Lucho and other exchange students in the past? I have one for Rafael, our exchange student, so I'll make sure he gets to take advantage of everything we have. So I'm just going to pass around. I have one sign up. If anybody wants to take him out for things, he's a great kid, playing football at Cherry Creek and having a great time. Oh, you did?
Wow.
Awesome. Having a great time. One other thing, you guys know that I do the once a month I serve a meal at Denver Rescue Mission, and I've kind of dropped the ball on getting it set up. For this week, I'm serving on Thursday, and I'm scrambling for people, so I'll ask if somebody could blast out, I'll send it, but if somebody could blast out an invite, if anybody's interested in serving a meal to the homeless at the Denver Rescue Mission on Thursday. Several of you have gone before. It's very rewarding. It's a great experience, and I'll buy everybody drinks afterwards. It's 4:45 Thursday evening at 23rd and Lawrence Street.
I didn't even know they had a bar there.
I have done that, and it is a lot of fun, and it lets you see kind of the underside of what we kind of pass by every day, and it's a little humbling to do it. Okay, I did want to remind everybody that the Rotary Leadership Institute is this month, October 13th. And once again, this is a very meaningful education experience for you, especially if you're new to Rotary. But you go for 3 sessions, there's a 1, 2, and 3, and you could actually complete this by February, because the 13th of October is the first session, where they teach all 3 sessions, of course. December 1st is the second, and then February 2nd is the third. So you could actually graduate in February.
When last week's newsletter gets distributed, apparently Karen is on vacation and doesn't have access to emails, but last week's newsletter has the complete flyer on the last page dealing with the Leadership Institute.
Excellent, excellent. But yeah, and the club will pay for you. So no money out of pocket. It's a Saturday, and it's well worth it. I did want to just mention too, yes.
I'm going to be going to it, so if anybody wants to get a hold of me and ride with me, because it's all the way on the other side of town.
Why don't you say that in the microphone?
I'll be going to the Institute next Saturday, so it's over at Red Rocks Community College. It's the other side of town, so if somebody wants to ride with me, let me know.
Okay, I did want to bring everybody up to speed on Madagascar. Our project there has kind of hit a little roadblock, and we had to make a decision to either fish or cut bait on this. So we have withdrawn our grant request for the water project in Madagascar. We haven't given up on Madagascar, but we're going to be trying a different method moving forward. It's just that the wells and the communications and everything else just was not working. So we'd rather use our hard-earned foundation money for things that we can make a difference in. Just so you know. All right. We have any travel gifts?
Sandra? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, she hasn't.
Travel gifts? Mary Alice has a travel gift.
We went this weekend to Topeka, Kansas, which is home to me, for my 60th high school reunion. We brought back a travel gift. They've redone all of downtown Topeka. If you go by there, you should really drive through the middle of town. on Kansas Avenue. Used to be just plain old street like everybody else's. Now they've built new buildings and set them back, so there's a lot of landscaping, planters and flowers everywhere. It's really beautiful down there. So we had a good time and had a good time at the reunion.
I have a travel gift in the tradition of our club and the fact that my wife and I did the Colorado tour. I have a genuine, honest to goodness, bought and paid for coaster that has the Colorado symbol on it. John, I paid for this. I bought this.
You lost me. Okay. Andres, do you have happy bucks today?
I do. Is everybody happy today?
Yay!
Well, man, that was quite an enthusiastic answer. 2 people are happy. We'll see. All right. I'm going to start it off. I have 2 bucks. One's for the Rockies. Hopefully they'll make it tonight, and we'll be celebrating next week. And the other one is for the Broncos, although they don't deserve it. But anyway, yeah, go Broncos.
Well, I have just a sad buck because the 2 games yesterday, 2 of the Denver teams that are both lost. So,
yeah. Anybody else happy in this table?
I have a happy buck and a sad buck. I mean, all combined, 50 cents to each. I turned my diesel VW in tomorrow because it was recalled and it's being bought back by VW Corporation. And then on Thursday, John is delivering me my new VW Beetle.
Which is also recalled.
Sandra, you happy?
No.
John. I have one for Caitlin. I mentioned to her a few minutes ago that when we were in France 3 weeks ago, we were able to spend 3 weeks with a week with the family of our French exchange student, Rotary exchange student from 38 years ago, Veronique. And she's, of course, married now and has 2 boys, and it was a wonderful time. So it's not just a one-time thing. It can continue.
All right. Ann.
This is because we finally, Saturday, you'll see it in the bulletin, found a lot of yellow leaves that was gorgeous up west Chicago Creek. We had gone to Kenosha, and if you've been up there, you know it was a waste of an effort. But had a really nice time on Saturday driving up west Chicago Creek.
All right. Anybody else here in this table? Doug?
I have $1 for our Colorado Rockies. Win or lose tonight, they've given us a great season, and they've made me happy.
Very good. The back table?
I have 2 happy dollars, one for the sunrise on the way in this morning because I'd never seen it without getting up to come to Rotary. And the second happy dollar is I understand it's supposed to snow next week and I'm headed to Key West.
Oh, nice. Nice. Anybody else here? Let me go this way. Roxy?
I have 5. And the first one is looking forward to hearing Caitlin's speech today. That's going to be great. And also, the next one is for Raphael. Raphael has been a really fun student and doing a lot. And like I mentioned before, he plays American football, and he got bumped up to varsity on Friday night, so he played with them. And the other one is for the Broncos. I know they didn't win, but it was a pretty exciting game, and they showed up. And then the Rockies, good luck for tonight. And it's Tuesday, and I'm at Rotary.
Good. I love how you say American football for my benefit. Because in the rest of the world, the real football is played with your feet.
I have $1. Boy, you guys missed a show at the Casa Red Wagon Ball this weekend. And I didn't realize, but the Blue Olive Properties, who are the it seemed like the single major sponsor of the whole event is our own Kevin McAsee over there. And it was as fine a show as I've ever been to.
Nice.
John.
Oh, $2, one for the Rockies, who hopefully they can win tonight and go on and do it again Thursday. And I hope the Broncos improve.
Hopefully. No happy bucks today? It's been a while since you root for the lottery ticket. Huh? This table?
I need four back. I've got one also for the Red Wagon Ball. I got a call from one of the board members yesterday thanking us for our attendance, and it sounds like they raised $311,000 at the Red Wagon Ball. So really a great event.
Very nice. Jay?
I have two. One is a penance. I guess probably a little more than that for the weeks I've been missing here. I've been on the road a lot. And the second one is thankfulness for Caitlin. On most days, it's good to have her back from Spain.
Let's see here.
I have two. One is I'm happy that my wife had a hernia surgery yesterday and she's at home and recovering. And then my second is a sad buck because she's restricted to lifting 10 pounds and there's a lot of things around the house that I'm learning how to do.
So I have an apology buck and a happy thank you buck. The first apology buck is apologizing to Caitlin for her dad's comments just now. The other is thanking the Rockies for a great season, no matter what happens tonight.
All right. Anybody else here in this table? Last but not least.
Keeping with my animal theme, I went out Sunday afternoon walking my dog and went around our rec area, which is, probably 150 feet from our house. Found that a bear had gotten into one of the trash bins and had made a deposit on the lawn full of berries. And yesterday I was able to find some bear spray.
Also happy for CASA and the success of their event. I donated a package of high-end scotch for their auction, and it was kind of interesting. There was two guys that just were going at it, and they were about 4 times retail of what the package was worth. So I went up and I stepped in and I said, hey, I'll double the package if you guys will both buy it. And so we were able to go from getting one guy to getting them both, and it was about $10,000.
Wow. Nice. Mr. President.
I have two, thank you. One is for Caitlin. Looking forward to your presentation. And the second is for my wife, who continues with her recovery from surgery. She's doing very, very well. Before we move on, I'd like Tripp to talk a little bit about our holiday party.
Sure. What a pleasure. I really want to get you guys jazzed to mark the date. We got that beautiful poster, thanks, Tim. But it's not going to be near as good as if we don't get a ton of folks. And I'll tell you, we're also, I know I've mentioned this before, but the mayor's already accepted our invitation to come and spend money, to be our guest. But we'd like, if you guys have somebody in mind, like somebody particularly we're looking for in the community that you would like to invite, we'd like to have some folks, community-minded folks. We'd like to include some folks like that. We're not going to invite the world, but we'd like to have some high-end guys that'll come and spend money and that want to have this relationship with Rotary. I think it would be valuable to a lot of guys in the room. But please mark the date. Please make it a point to be there. We're gonna change it up. We're gonna have already got some surprises lined up, and I think you're really gonna be pleased that you put the 7th in your hip pocket for the holiday party with the Rotary. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Rip.
Yes, sir. At this point, we're talking about free to
the club is paying for
members.
Yeah.
The member and spouse or significant other. One thing though, if you do RSVP and you don't show up, you're going to be billed $35 a seat. Okay? Any guests will be paying only for the cost of the meal, which is $35. Okay?
I want to say that my basement is full. So please come and bring money. We will, I don't know, have you already arranged for someone to arrange that? Last year, Catherine did a good job, but last time I spoke to her, she said she hadn't signed on.
No, we have arranged for it. You're going to do it. Thanks.
Okay,
No,
great.
no, I'm just kidding. No, we haven't talked to Catherine about it.
Okay. But yes, we have a lot of quality merchandise, and so bring your wallets, bring your checkbook.
Yeah, the president of the Aurora Club heard about our party, and he's asked me if we could open it up to them as well. We want to take care of our own first, obviously, but it wouldn't be bad to have a little bit of cross-pollination either. Yeah. All right, one final thing before we go. This is very, very important, too. This was left last week. Now, you're going to have to go through John Peterson for authentication, okay? Do you know the serial number? I've got it for you over here. With that, Mr. Weber, would you like to introduce your daughter?
Sure. Do I introduce her or Cheryl?
I am.
Oh, you're going to introduce him?
I am.
Should be nice.
Yeah, probably.
Especially after Jay's comments about his daughter.
Based upon that last comment.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
right. Well, we are delighted to have Caitlin Weber with us. She was a Rotary exchange student this past year to Madrid, Spain, and she did her junior year there. This year she's back as a senior at Cherry Creek High School. And while she was there, of course, she had a steep learning curve after 1 year of Spanish and then being thrown into Spanish high school. She had to learn rather quickly. One of the unique opportunities she had while she was there is she became the liaison between the Spain District Exchange Officer and the rest of the exchange students. And currently she is leading an effort to form ROTEX. And ROTEX is a social and support group for students who have returned from an exchange. So I'm anxious to hear about that too, Caitlin. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thank you. So after my first month abroad, I sat down and I wrote this list called Things No One Told Me About My First Month Abroad, because I was thrown into this crazy mess and I was like, oh my goodness, this is not at all what I expected. So I thought I'd share that with you guys and tell you a couple of stories. Okay, so my first thing that I wrote down is that homestay is awkward. So when I flew to Spain, I didn't know any Spanish at all. I knew hola and donde está el baño, and those are not very helpful when greeting a family. So I got off the plane, I had my phone out, and I was Googling how to say hi to a host family, and I was looking at pictures like, oh my goodness, I hope I recognize them in the airport. I finally got through customs, and I saw them standing there with that little sign right there, and I walked forward, and I was ready to go out and shake their hands, and they started kissing me. And I had no idea what to do. I was petrified, and everything I thought I knew about Spain just went out the window. I forgot all of my Spanish, anything. I couldn't move. And so they started asking me questions. They're like, hey, how's your flight? Are you okay? Does she understand us? And I gave them a look that's very familiar to all exchange students. I had no idea what was going on. All right, my second point. You are going to run out of money. I think without the Rotary stipend, I probably would have starved. Madrid is the third largest city in all of Europe, so it's full of all these different cultures and peoples and great food. I spent a lot of my time in Madrid finding these little hidden bakeries. My favorite one was an Indian bakery. Everything they sold €2. You want 2 pastries? €2. You want 5 pastries? €2. It was amazing. And places like that are where I spent all my money. And of course, not to mention the Spanish jamon and tortilla, which are both staples of a Spanish diet, and I probably ate my body weight's worth in both of these. Point number 3, you cannot expect anything. Did I expect to fight a bull in Spain? No. Most of all, did I expect for it to be a Rotary sanctioned event? Absolutely not. On a more serious note, when I was given, in my orientation, I was given this flow chart. And this is the roller coaster of life on exchange. And when I got to Spain, I was expecting, okay, according to this chart, I'm supposed to go through a honeymoon phase. So when I got to Spain and I didn't have that, I was crushed. I thought I was doing something wrong. I thought, I'm a bad exchange student, you know, I'm not loving the country. I'm not loving everything about exchange right away. But I've learned that that doesn't make or break your exchange. You don't have to follow this path. You know, most people go to high school for 4 years, and then they go to college and whatnot. I went to high school for 3 years and went on exchange for 1. Following the normal path is not always right, and that was one of the best things I learned. Friends? It's really hard to make friends abroad. I struggled so much with making local friends. The first time I actually had a group to hang out with was in December, after 4 months of being abroad. And it was on a ski trip my school took to Andorra. And then it took months after that for me to actually start hanging out outside of school with them. But I'm so thankful that these girls were here for me and reached out to me when I really needed it. Number 5, it's okay to contact home, and it's as hard on your family as it is on you. When I first got to Spain, I tried to get involved. I wanted to join a soccer team because I've been playing soccer my whole life. But my town was really small, and they only had 2 girls' soccer teams. One was the champions of Madrid. They were all in their 20s, and they were amazing players, and I am not. And then the other team was a bunch of 12-year-olds who couldn't play soccer at all. So I was pretty stuck between the two, and I realized I couldn't be happy. I was getting yelled at in Spanish on the fields. I didn't understand what was going on, and I had a really hard time accepting that and moving on and trying to find something new. I eventually found horseback riding, which is amazing. My host family owned a couple horses, so I was able to get into that. But my family told me that when I called them crying about soccer and how upset I was and how much I wanted to come home after that, it was so hard for them. They were so worried and they felt so helpless. But I know I couldn't have done it without them. Number 6, symptoms of exchange and of a concussion are the exact same. I got a concussion about a year before I left from playing soccer, and I was exhausted all the time. I had a headache. I was super disoriented. You know, I would get lost around my school. I couldn't take tests or anything. And I went on exchange. I got to Spain. I was exhausted all the time. I had a headache. I was super disoriented. Exact same thing. I don't know what it is, but there's a little bit of catharsis in sharing the best parts of your life on social media. I know a lot of sources say that it's really damaging, like looking at social media, you know, you see the best parts of everyone's life. But when I was in Spain and I was seeing my friends going to homecoming and prom, and I knew I was missing out on something there, I thought, ooh, you know what'll show them? What about this cool picture from Morocco? Or this picture from Valencia with my host family? So I definitely showed off a little bit through that, and it definitely helped me think, okay, I can't miss what's going on at home because what I'm doing here is so amazing. Homesickness and nostalgia are really different. Nostalgia, as it says here, is a yearning for the happiness of a former place or time. And yeah, you liked it, you wanted it, but it's not so bad that you think, I'm not happy here. Whereas homesickness, you know, there's a small part of you that's really unhappy and you want to go back home. You really want that more than you want that, the life in Spain. And For me, it was hard to make that distinction sometimes, but over time, I transitioned from being homesick all the time to occasionally getting nostalgic, but really wanting to stay in Spain. You have to be willing to fail. So as I mentioned earlier, in Spain, when you greet someone, you give them 2 kisses. So when I first came to Spain, I'm an American. I'm accustomed to shoving my hand in someone's face whenever I want to greet them and say, hey, I'm Caitlin, nice to meet you. So people in Spain would try and greet me, and they'd lean in to kiss me, and I'd end up stabbing them in the chest, So eventually, over time, I adjusted. I got accustomed to doing the dos besos. And then there were some times when my host dad would introduce me to someone. He'd say, hey, this is Caitlin. She's our exchange student from the USA. It's like, okay, cool. And they'd look at my host dad and they'd say, oh, does she speak Spanish? And when he said, yeah, they'd turn to me and they'd say, oh, you're American. Nice to meet you. I was, shoot. And I was sitting there trying to give them 2 kisses, and they were stabbing me in the chest now. It was crazy. And then I have a little joke up here. You shouldn't greet someone with 2 kisses if there are more than 7 people in the room, because the Spanish people can be crazy. There could be this many people in the room, someone would walk in and they'd all stand up and they'd all kiss each other. It's crazy. The other exchange students will be your best friends and best assets. When I went abroad, I had no friends. I didn't know anybody in Spain. But I got to meet this amazing community of people who were going through the exact same thing as me. They got off the plane the first time. They met their host family. They went to school. They didn't speak the language either. And something about that connection just made our bond so strong. The friends I made in 10 months on exchange were better than the friends I've made in 14 years here. And so these pictures are from us on the Camino de Santiago, which is an 800-kilometer walk along the north of Spain. And I was so blessed to be able to spend a week walking the last 100 kilometers with these people and growing closer to them than I could ever imagine. Coming home. So, I have paper. Sorry. Everything I learned in my first month abroad kept growing. This was just 1 month of learning. And each month after that, it just grew exponential, what I knew about the world and what I knew about myself. And by the end of my exchange, I did not want to come home. So I have a little excerpt from my last monthly report that I wrote back to Rotary in May. I don't want to go home, which I suppose is a good thing because it means my exchange has gone well. But the idea of leaving everything I've built here behind is terrifying. In the past couple months, I've finally assimilated entirely to the culture. I've made amazing friends that I wouldn't trade for the world. And I'm finally getting invited to all sorts of events and parties that I didn't even know existed. I was invited to a birthday party this weekend, but I didn't know a whole lot of people there. And the one girl I did know had to leave early, so I was nervous about having to be alone. But I was pulled in by an intense warmth and welcoming I hadn't experienced before, and all of my nerves washed away. Later, people I met there began texting me and inviting me to hang out. Something impositive would have never happened a few months ago. But now I'm leaving, and suddenly I have to give up even the potential of making new friends and new memories. Granted, I still have a month left, and I'm sure I'll have a blast with the other exchange students during that time. But once I step off the plane to begin my Euro tour, I won't be leaving Spain for a few weeks. I'll be leaving for who knows how long, and that terrifies me. I'm back in the US now, but I'm not entirely home. I didn't have a whole lot of space in my suitcase, so I kind of had to leave a big part of my heart in Spain. And yeah, my friends are probably really sick of hearing me talk about it, and my family is probably as well. But I'm so blessed to have had 2 lives that were both equally as full and special to me. So thank you, Rotary. You gave me the best year of my life.
Now we do have time for questions. Sure we have.
Tell us about your host family, please.
Yeah, my host family was pretty awesome. They So before I went abroad, I was hearing all these things from them. My host dad was really active and sending me a ton of pictures, and my family's really thankful that he was super active on social media, because he posted way more pictures and told them more about my exchange than I did. And my host family, they lived in a small town outside of Madrid, about 30 kilometers north of it, called Comuna Viejo. And they had horses, they had season tickets to Real Madrid, which is amazing. And they had a vacation house in Valencia, which was super cool. And they were just the sweetest people. My host mom, when I told her that during Christmas time we normally have a Christmas tree, even though they didn't, she was like, okay, get in the car. I said, what? What do you mean? She's like, just get in the car. And we went to the store and we bought a Christmas tree. And she let me pick out all the decorations for it. And they were just the sweetest.
Can you tell us about the jacket with all the pins and stuff?
Yeah, so when each exchange student goes abroad through Rotary, they get this blazer. And in the beginning, it had this patch. And that's it. And so over the course of my exchange, I was able to exchange pins with all kinds of exchange students from all over the world. And I collected different items, too, from my travels. So, for example, with the Camino de Santiago, I have this big old shell here, which is representative of the Camino. And so it's covered in memories, pretty much. Yeah?
So how long did it take you to master the language if you didn't speak very well?
I still wouldn't say I've entirely mastered the language. There's always something new to learn. It was probably around December when I started feeling most comfortable with it, when, you know, I wasn't super afraid and I wasn't sitting there translating every word in my head before I spoke. So that, and then I kept on improving from there. I got new tenses, grammar, all that.
So you're standing there in the arena, I guess, and the bull is looking at you. And so, I mean, it looked like you'd had some practice. Or was that the first time?
That was the first time I ever did that. We had a Rotary event. They put a bunch of little bulls in the ring, and they said, okay, guys, go in. What? So, yeah, I mean, they're not super dangerous. You could definitely get hurt from those guys, but they were like, yeah, you'll be fine. Don't know if health insurance covers that, but...
Is there anything you could have done looking back, or Rotary could have done to make the culture shock a little smoother?
I think, honestly, having the culture shock be rough and bumpy is one of the better parts of it. It's not at the time, you know. You look at it and you're going through it and you think, this sucks. I want to go home. This is rough. But looking back, I'm actually really thankful I had a rough time in the beginning, because it made what came after so much more worth it.
In the past, when we were hosting Rotary Exchange students, they would stay at 2 or 3 houses during their year. You were with one family. What do you think about one family versus a couple or 3?
I think I would have liked to change host families if I had the opportunity, just because I wanted to experience more of the culture. And I know, so my actual next door neighbor in Spain, they were hosting another exchange student as well from the US. So I got to spend some time at their house and see their way of life, and it was just entirely different from my host families. So I kind of wish I had gotten to see a little bit more of that perspective, but at the same time I loved my host family, so it was great.
So what kind of things do you hope to accomplish with Rotex?
So with Rotex, I don't know if you guys heard in the little opening, but it's an organization of rebound exchange students, so kids that went on exchange in the past, here in Colorado to help out with the exchange students that are here now from all over the world, and with the ones who are going abroad. So in Spain, there was another Rotex club, and they were super helpful to me. They were some of my friends in Spain. They had gone on exchange, and they knew what I was going through, but they were also locals. So they knew the ins and outs of the city and of the culture, and they were a great help to me. So I really hope that with Rotex, we're able to do that for the exchange students here and give them a hand that I thought I needed.
How many students were in the high school that you attended, and how often I mean, was it a large school that you were able to get into Madrid, or how did that work for you?
So I went to a school in my town. So it was pretty small. I think it was like 80 students in the top 2 grades, which are primero and segundo de bachillerato, which is like junior and senior year of high school. It was really tiny. And as far as Madrid goes, I usually only went on the weekends because it was about a 30-minute train ride.
So I'm pretty sure there were a lot of learnings in all of this that you were talking about, but what would you say is the biggest learning for you in this whole year of experiences?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Either for yourself or the culture. What made this trip worth it to you?
I think what made it most worth it to me is I realized there's so much out there in the world. I was able to see an entirely different culture and become part of it. And that's just invaluable to me. And now I'm sitting at home and I'm thinking, ooh, do I really want to go to college, or can I take some time and go travel? My parents don't like that idea. But I finally realized how big the world is, and that's so great to me, and I want to explore it so much.
Well, if that's it, Caitlin, we're so proud of you, and we're happy
Thank you.
to we're able to come here. Wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
All right. We have another job for you to do.
Okay.
All right. You get to make someone happy today.
All right.
There's no chance.
And it better not be yours.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, okay, all right.
In my defense, you would think that the person who was asking you for money should put their $5 in every week. That's all there is. That's my
Grab one.
Please draw one and read the last 3 digits.
All right. 791.
All right. Phil, you have to come up here to draw. You have to come up here to draw the marble. Okay.
He's halfway there. Give him time. Give him time.
You weren't complaining about my winning all the time.
Yes.
You weren't? Well, then it serves both of us right.
Okay.
Yeah. And I checked, there's a blue marble in here.
I'll get it.
Among a whole lot of clear ones.
Over the fire.
That one's clear.
Well, it's clear.
Better luck next week.
Sorry,
Okay. And Caitlin, we support a small library in Denver, and we buy books for them. And a book plate just like this will be in one of the new books that's provided. But this is for you.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much. Okay, quick program today. So, would you please join me for all the things we think, say, and do? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Go out and have a great day.